That sounded like,
bro,
holy
it did it.
Bro, are you serious? You guys are crazy, bro.
It's only on 38 PSI.
Welcome back to the TRC G80 M3 build series. We're back at M-Tech Performance. We got all the parts laid out and it's time to get to work. In this episode, we're installing everything. And by the end of the episode, this beast will be ready to make some serious jam. And don't forget, our giveaway to win this BMW M3 is now live. Anything you grab on our site, thatracingchannel.com, automatically gets you entered for a chance to win. All right, guys, we got a bunch of new sick merch on the site. The TRC BMW line came out so sick. We got the M Edition TRC logo, came out so badass. We got some new jackets, got some new champion jackets. TRC right here looking real good. These things are super badass. And we got some new TRC logo merch, new designs on the site. Make sure to check out the site, get you entered for a chance to win. Moose, my man.
Javier, how's it going, bro? How's
good, bro. I'm excited. Today's the day. We got all the parts laid out. We got the M3 back there. We're about to tear into this thing, dude.
This is one amazing table right here. I can't wait to get into it.
Lots of shiny bits here, bro.
Yeah,
well,
man,
we're gonna give the viewers here a little breakdown, full detailed. Last episode, we got the car on the Dyno stock, and then we tuned it.
Correct.
It made, you know, 495
correct
stock, I think, and then it picked up like 200 and almost 250 wheel horsepower.
All with a tune and some ethanol.
Which is, you worked your magic on that thing,
Thank
dude.
you so much.
It was a whole other animal after we got this thing tuned. But we're not done yet. We still got to install all these goodies, and then we're gonna get it back on the dyno and make even more jam, dude.
Yes, sir.
So it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, let's give the people a little rundown of the awesome partners that we chose to be a part of our journey.
So first and foremost, we have our Precision Next Gen 6870 Turbo. So this is gonna be the heart of our boost. Paired with it is gonna be our M-Tech Performance Turbo Kit. So the hot parts to feed to that turbo. That turbo is then gonna feed air on to our CSF intercooler. Keep the intake temps down. We're gonna be using Turbo Smart wastegates to control the boost. And we're gonna be using Red Horse AN fittings and steel braided lines for all the oil lines and the wastegate plumbing. Last but not least, what's gonna control all of this is gonna be this Boot Mod Rev 2 controller. So once this car is together, we should be able to clear 950 horsepower. Maybe we'll lean on it a little, try to go for 1,000. And once we do make that kind of power, something that's not here is gonna be your transmission build. Stock transmission is not capable of holding that kind of horsepower and torque. We'll pay a visit to DECA and build your tranny there.
So we're gonna do an in-depth teardown on the stock transmission and then show you guys all the parts that are gonna go into it and show you guys building the transmission as well. Dude, and this right here, honestly, when we pulled it out of the box, blew me away, man. The engineering that goes into this, and it's like artwork, bro. It's so beautiful.
It's like a piece of jewelry. Very nice product.
Yeah, dude.
So this here is actually considered a CSF charge air cooler. So that's what BMW calls this. The reason they call it a charge air cooler is because the intercooler is built into the intake manifold. They refer to boost pressure as charge air. So our old import guys are gonna refer to this as an intake manifold. It just happens to have a water-cooled intercooler attached to it. So there's a lot that goes into this intake manifold itself as it's cooling our intake temperatures, and it also has to have a good design on the inside to flow the air into the engine. So one of my favorite things about the CSF cooler is actually in the inside. If you can see all that surface area and all the guides for the air.
Look at that, dude. This thing is literally artwork, dude. I think you can see on camera here a lot of what's going on in there. Lots going on in there.
Yeah. Not your basic intake manifold.
Not your basic intake manifold. Got some ID 1050X here. Can't go wrong with some injector dynamics sauce there. And huge shout out to Red Horse. We're starting to run Red Horse on all of our builds. We're doing the Skyline with Red Horse. I know, Moose, you have a lot of experience. Is that what you use for all the builds?
Yeah, as far as Red Horse AM fittings go, those are my favorite fittings of choice. In comparison to a lot of other fittings, they're much more durable. So when you go to actually use them with an AN wrench, they don't mar and scratch as easy. When you hold them in your hand, they feel like a little heavier than most of the aluminum fittings that you buy on the market. So hands down, it's definitely my favorite product to use when it comes to AN fittings and lines. All right, so Javier, I think it's officially time. We've spoken about all the parts. We've test driven the car. We tuned it on E50. I think it's time to tear it apart and start digging in.
I'm ready, dude.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna end up doing first is we'll probably pull the turbo kit, pull the intake manifold, Same time, we'll get the turbo kit on, we'll get the intake manifold on, we'll get the Rev 2 wired up, we'll get the injectors installed, everything up under the hood done. And at the same time, we're gonna have that transmission pulled before all of that, so we can take the transmission to DECA. Once we get that transmission back, there's only one thing left to do, and that's gonna be dyno tuning. So it's gonna be a lot on your chest, because it's gonna be up to you. Do you wanna make 1,000 on a stock motor, a little more, stay at 950?
Oh man, honestly, that's tough. I'm gonna have to lean on. We're gonna have to drop a comment below. How much you guys wanna see us making this thing? Obviously, we're gonna keep this thing very safe. We're then gonna put the thing to the test after we get this thing making some more jam.
So this CSF intake manifold was designed with PWR. PWR is involved into a lot of Formula One racing. So a lot of the engineering that was put into the CSF intake manifold is going to be super beneficial for intake temps as well as airflow. So I want you guys to take a look inside the core through the throttle body, and you can see how dense the core is and how much surface area the air actually gets to contact to cool it. This intake manifold is one of the most complete hardware kit intake manifolds available on the market. So this specific intake manifold is going to come with that plastic intake plenum to keep heat transfer from the cylinder head to the intake manifold away. A lot of other intake manifolds come with like that pressed cardboard gasket, versus this one will come with a true thermal gasket. As well as here, you're going to have brackets that clip in the factory harness, so you get that nice clean OEM look. As well as when this intake manifold was designed, a lot of fitment was put into the thought process. So you're going to notice once this is installed, changing the engine oil on this car is going to be a breeze, as you're going to have super easy access now to the oil filter. And this CSF intake manifold is definitely one of the best fitting when it comes to the SUVs as well. It's honestly one of the best choices for the S58 platform, in my opinion. And this is exactly why we chose to use this on the TRC giveaway car. So I wanted to speak a few things about this boot mod Rev 2 board. One of my favorite things with it is this is officially the first tuning platform to offer you a tuning suite to use, as well as a sequential port injection controller, all integrated into one. So now when you're tuning this car and you want to make changes, you can do everything all through the boot mod app while controlling this Rev 2 board. You have 10 input channels. With these 10 input channels, you'll be able to intake content from sensors such as your fuel pressure sensor, your coolant pressure sensor, your ethanol content sensor. If you have nitrous, you could read your bottle pressure. You could also add 2 EGT temps to each bank, so you could finally read EGT temps to the S58 platform, which is another first. You'll be able to add a turbine speed sensor, read your data from that. You could also add a ride height sensor, read data from that. Methanol flow, methanol tank level, laser ride height sensor. It goes on, and I can't wait to use everything that it has to offer. A lot of these channels may be beyond the level of what this car is being built for, but for the future owner, if they ever want to use it, they can go above and beyond with these channels. So I also want to discuss the 7 output channels. So these output channels will be meaning that the Rev 2 board is going to be controlling a motor, stuff like your secondary port injection system, your boost max solenoid, your secondary fuel pump, your nitrous solenoid, your methanol water injection pump, as well as your line lock solenoid. I know that's a mouthful, but that's just what this thing is capable of. So within the sequential port injection system, now within the logs, you can see your PI, DI, differential pressure. You can see a lot of things that's actually going on with PI and DI, and now they essentially work together. You have a lot of safeties that can be involved, as well as like your safety coil cut. So if it sees anything wrong, it'll literally cut the coils, save the engine from breaking down. God forbid you're ever in that situation. One of my other favorite features with this Rev 2 board that's only going to be compatible with this Rev 2 board is going to be the line lock. So you can actually add a line lock. You're going to hold down your BC button. It'll activate your line lock when you're holding the brakes down. As many people know, we had our own port injection harness that we used to make for the Reflex. Our harness, I believe, was probably the only motorsport grade harness that was available on the market. And what I mean by motorsport grade is a lot of harnesses that come now that are available for like Reflex and other models, they pretty much are all low quality harnesses. They're not a true motorsport grade harness. So to have a true motorsport grade harness, it requires like Miltech wires. These wires are made of copper, and then they're tin coated, and then they're insulated. This boot mod Rev 2 board doesn't connect through CAN like traditional sequential port injection that was available for the S58. Now this connects through FlexRay. With this harness being a full motorsport grade wire harness, it doesn't lack anything as far as being conventional plug and play. You don't have to cut anything. You don't have to splice anything.
What's going on, guys? Justin with MTech. Here I'm going to explain how we install the Rev 2 board. Alright, so we're going to start with placement of the box. They offer this bracket. So on the inside of this cubby here, you have a mounting point with some studs here. You just mount it here, and then the box is bolted here. And then here we have our outputs. So if you want to control like a methanol pump, your boost solenoid, your low pressure fuel pump inside the tank, all of it can be triggered with your outputs here. You have your plugs for your injectors, 1 through 6, that will go on top of your manifold here to the rail. And follow it along. Now you will have your signals. We have your fuel pressure sensor, which will tap into either the rail or a fuel line or something, so you can get your fuel pressure. Lastly, we have your inputs. You have fuel pressure for your flex fuel, so you can read E85 content, right? You have coolant pressure if you wanted to add that in, which would be just getting an adapter. Normally we mount it here, and it has a 1/8 MPT that you could put the sensor in for your coolant pressure, right? You have turbo speed, you have your nitrous pressure, and then from there, that's it. Pretty simple setup.
All right, guys, and for those of you who missed the announcement, the winner of our last giveaway, which was our 1300 horsepower Real Street 2JZ, was Danielson out of Georgia. We're gonna plug some clips here, but it was an awesome story. We couldn't have gone to a better home. He's actually a Mark III Supra owner. He had bought like something like 2 or 3 bad engines for the car. They all had bad compression, so he gave up on the project, and we were able to make his 2JZ dreams come true. We also got him set up with Real Street Performance to get everything else that he needed to get the build back on the road. Congratulations again to Danielson, and maybe one of you will be our next TRC giveaway winner. All right, guys, the M3 is ready to make some jam. So they just finished it up. They just finished buttoning up a couple things. We're about to get it on the dyno. Moose, my man.
How you doing?
Ready to do this thing?
Always ready.
We've been having a lot of fun lately, bro.
Too much fun.
We've been in and out of the shop a ton. We just watch you guys thrash on this thing, and for what I've seen so far, you guys have absolutely killed it so far, man.
Thank you,
let's
man.
Let's give the people a little look on all the parts they saw laid out on the table are now installed on the M3.
Yeah, man, let's take a look. We just finished it all up. Super short amount of time. I think we started on like Wednesday, and here we are, 7 days later. Tranny build, turbo kit, Rev 2 board, port injection, low pressure fuel pump upgrade.
Crushed it.
Time for the dyno.
They just set themselves a high bar, because now everybody that comes for build one of these is saying, I want my shit in 7 days.
Proper preparation for proper performance.
Let's check it out here. Look at this, dude. It's so clean. Damn. The CSF looks so good peeking out of there. Badass turbo kit. The old 6870 precision turbo.
Check out how we set up all the red horse fittings and all the wastegate lines. Super clean.
So clean, dude.
No rubber and crazy T's everywhere.
Bro, honestly, it looks like very factory, you know?
It's very simple the way that we do it.
Super simple.
If you do it right, where you don't have a bunch of lines connecting into the wastegate and plastic T's and rubber hoses, this will last a lifetime. The red horse stuff is the way to go.
Yeah, dude. This all looks very just quality-wise like OEM plus, you know? Nice little turbola now.
Yeah, and we typically we go the extra mile. You know, we heat sleeve the oil line here. We also heat sleeve like your battery cable back here, since we have the downpipe down there. You could take a look here. This overflow tank was moved over. So we also supply like an extension harness, so you don't have to cut the factory plug. You just deep pin it, connect into our connector, have an extension just like that. Once you expose the fuel rail and you remove this engine cover and the strut brace for the fuel line, we have one of the easy Red Horse quick disconnect fuel lines. So that way, if you're ever working on the car, you need to drain gas right there at the top of the intake manifold, just quickly disconnect that line.
Hell yeah.
No leak.
Dude,
it's
that
called
is badass.
A dry brake, to be exact.
Hell yeah. That's badass, man. So this thing is ready to make some jam. So we got the dyno all prepped up. Ready to do this,
sir.
dude?
Only if you are.
What's left? We gotta just throw a map in this thing?
I think we still have E50 in it from before. So we'll probably just make a pull right now with the E50, bring up the ethanol after, and try to make 950, maybe 1,000 if you're down.
Let's see. Let's see how it does. All right, boys, let's do this. All right, guys, we got the M3 strapped up. All right, Moose, what's the game plan?
Well, we're gonna make our first pull on wastegate, see what it makes, and get her dialed in and turn up the boost from wastegate and go from there.
Hell yeah, so it's on E85.
Yep, right now it's on E85. It'll be a full flex fuel tune, so you'll be able to pump 93 as you please. The boot mod will make its own adjustments according to the ethanol content that it detects within the gas. But for now, we're gonna be on wastegate. If I had to guess, probably make around 700 horsepower.
Hell yeah, all right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
First pull, 740. Dude, look at that grab. That is gangster. God, this thing sounds so freaking good, dude. Jeez. My man.
748.
Dude, it sounds so good with all the new mods.
I know, bro. It's like a whole new car, man.
It really is, dude.
It is.
Damn,
You like
that's stout.
Not bad at all,
So that's Wastegate.
748 wastegate, 26, 27 pounds of boost.
Hell yeah.
Luckily, we were able to make pretty much just a little more than what it made stock turbo, if not the same.
Yeah.
So not too stout. I was a little worried we might have made a little less than stock turbos on wastegate, but we're there.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. So now we'll what? Check logs and turn it up?
We'll check some logs. Everything looks pretty good on the graph. If the logs look good, Yerba will probably give us 10, 20% more in the duty cycle. We'll up the boost a little and take our time and work it up and see where we get. We're probably going to stick around 38 pounds of boost depending on how much torque we make. Our goal is to kind of keep the torque below 800, so we'll see what it's capable of.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. More boost on the way. More power there, 760.
Looking good. So that's just a little bit more boost. That was like 29, 30 pounds. Wanted to make sure like the fueling, everything looked good in the log. Now Yerbo said everything looks good in this log. We're gonna probably go up to like 35 pounds.
Hell yeah.
So I think we should see a big increase on this revision now. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Ooh, 831, baby. Officially over 800 wheel horsepower. Look at that. Dang. 831, 694 torque. 831, baby.
Dude, following the boost targets perfectly. That's 32 PSI.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I think we'll go up to like 35 now and see what it does.
Dude,
Bro,
hell
it's
yeah,
doing
bro.
really good for the boost levels.
Yeah,
it's
man.
probably like
This thing's making some jam, dude.
doing like 10% better than the regular cars. This thing's like a little different or something.
These right here, I'm gonna show you people right here. I'm gonna show them why right here. Ready? Boom. 10% horsepower. Get yours. Thatracingchannel.com. Go ahead right now. Get your tier 2 sticker at thatracingchannel.com.
I think that's like 50 horsepower right there, right?
10%.
Yep. All
All
right,
right,
you ready?
so
we're gonna go up and boost a little. We're gonna target like 35, 36 pounds now. Let's see what it makes.
all right, cool. Let's do it. This thing is making some jam. Ladies and gentlemen, this shit is spicy. So we've cracked over 900 wheel horsepower. Almost 950 wheel horsepower. This is absolutely insane. What a badass freaking platform. God, so freaking cool. So here we have it. Dang, 938. Bro, that's insane.
Dude, super insane.
It's insane,
And it's
dude.
only on 35 pounds of boost right now.
Wow.
We didn't even reach our target. So this is a good example of why you can't always go by boost. Sometimes cars will perform a little better or not as good. This car is definitely performing a little bit better. Our main goal here with the stock motor and stock rods, to keep this engine happy, we're gonna try to keep the torque under 800, and we're really not gonna ramp in any power or torque until about 6 grand or after. That way we don't have any issues, keep the stock rods happy. So you can see in the graph, if you wanna take a look now, how we keep the torque down low, we keep the horsepower down low when we're under 6,000 RPM. At 6,000 RPM is really where you see that torque kind of come up most. And at 5,500, we start to bring in that boost. So you can see at 35 PSI, we're following our same graph, and then we don't go up from 32 to 35 PSI until about right here, 5,500 RPM, which carries us all the way to 938 wheel horsepower, right at the peak of your red line.
Yep.
And we're only on 35 PSI. So believe it or not, this stock engine still has a little bit more room. If we keep
That's
the
wild.
torque
So you want
under,
so you want to push it higher than this?
I think so, man. So my main goal was to keep the torque under 800, and we're only at 744 foot-pounds of torque and 35 pounds of boost. Yerbil's doing an amazing job with that torque control.
Yeah,
super,
man. Dude,
super
the
good torque
process has
control.
been so seamless. Like literally, like
It really has. I
you can
mean,
tell that he does
with
this
4
day
pulls
in
in,
and day out because it's
that's all he
you know
does, man.
I normally go to like dyno sessions and you're there an entire day.
Yeah, bro.
you
He
know,
eats, sleeps,
this is-
and breathes these S58s.
Dude,
He
you're
knows
the
them very,
man,
very
bro.
well.
That's wild. I'm honestly mind blown right now. How
Yeah, bro.
effortless this thing is just
It's amazing. You
cooking,
can't beat it.
dude. Cooking, man. All right, so a little bit more boost, a little bit more jam,
Just a little bit more.
a little bit more.
See if we keep it under 830 foot-pounds of torque.
Maybe we crack that 4 digits.
Maybe. Don't get too greedy.
Yeah, no, nobody's getting greedy here, honestly.
We'll see what happens.
So guys, we're super happy as is now, but we're gonna get to our boost target that the tuner wants, and he feels completely confident that this is safe at this level. So we're gonna give it another crack and see how it does.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It sounded like,
Bro,
holy
it did it.
Bro, are you serious? 1,013, bro. You guys are crazy, bro.
Bro, it's only on 38
Holy
PSI.
shit.
This thing is performing, dude.
That's
You're gonna have to blurb that out. That's insane. This thing is doing
1,000
freaking great,
cracked
bro.
4 digits, brother.
Wow.
Holy shit. My mind is blown right now.
This thing is gonna feel great on the street.
Dude, that's crazy. So you still stayed under you were like trying to keep it under 830
Yeah.
foot-pounds of torque.
Exactly. I mean, we're right there. We're right at 819. Say we're right there at that
Dang.
limit. Still
Dude.
keeping it safe, not bringing in the torque and the
Yerbil is
horsepower
the
till the
man.
end. Bro, he did an amazing job.
Yerbil is the man, bro. My mind is blown.
Bro,
4-digit M3, Tier C approved, MTech approved, Yerbil approved. Dude, this thing is spicy.
it is, man.
I
Stock
didn't
motor
think we were
king
gonna make this much power. I didn't think we were gonna make this much power.
on a
I was
six,
happy at 900.
on a 6872.
That's
Didn't need a
wild.
7275.
And you're not killing the boost.
Nope. Turbo's not even working hard.
Conservative torque management.
100%, dude.
Absolutely crushed it.
Super sweet setup, man. I can't
Absolutely
wait to feel
crushed
it on
it.
the street myself.
Guys, this is insane. This platform is probably one of the most impressive platforms that I've come across in a very long time. I'm honestly so excited that we're gonna get to build our Dream N3, but then it's gonna go to one of you guys, one of our fans, a follower of ours that gets to drool over watching this build, this dream build. We gotta put this thing through its paces, get it the old official TRC approved
Now
stamp.
it's time for the real test.
Yes, sir. You gonna drive this thing or what?
I guess.
I'm itching.
Who's driving first?
I'm driving. So now this is a hero pass on the dyno. And while we know it's safe, you had a customer running around, maybe not this high, but close to it for a year. And you know, he beat on the car a lot and all that, but we're gonna be extra conservative, be extra safe. I guess what do you think we should turn this thing down to? Just for what can you send this thing off to get floored every single day and not have a hiccup?
So I think where we're gonna end up leaving this car at is gonna be right at that 938 mark and that 744. I think that's perfect. Give the keys to anybody, beat on it, years to come, and have nothing to worry about.
So,
you'll still be able to load that 1,000 horsepower map and have at it.
Yep.
But that, I would save it. You know, save it for a big money race, save it for a day at the track. I wouldn't say you're gonna abuse the car every single day
street fight.
on that power level with stock rods.
For sure.
So if it were me and I was driving it every day, I'd stay at that 938. Anybody catches you at a red light, they're not gonna win.
So we got an approved 900 horsepower TRC M3 right here. That's gangster.
Yeah, man.
That's freaking gangster. All right, guys, so in this episode, you guys have seen this thing built by MTech from soup to nuts. It's made 4 digits on the dyno, TRC approved, 1,000 horsepower M3. It's getting turned down for the street a little bit to a very safe level. We're gonna go enjoy this thing. That's gonna be it for this episode though. In the next episode, we're gonna go for the first rips with the newfound power. And we also have one more upgrade that's gonna be installed in the next episode to complete the final form of the M3. We'll catch you guys in the next one.